Hi, and welcome to another episode of All Things Considered. Uh, I'm doing a video on an article that I came across. It deals with progressive politics and how it's hurting Seattle, restaurants, and their workers. There was an incredibly compelling op-ed in the Wall Street Journal recently about how the minimum wage is killing Seattle restaurants. And it is. The cost of living is way too high. The cost of living is way too high for mom and pop restaurants to stay in business. There's no way that when you have a cost of living that expensive, this is what you should do, Seattle. You should just say, poor people are not allowed. People that are on minimum wage need to go somewhere else. We can't help you. We like being rich. We like that fuck you attitude, and we're going to stay that way. We have people that are making 100, 200, 300 grand a year. We have people that are buying $1 million homes. We ain't got time for the waiter making $15 an hour. We just can't do it. We ain't got time. So y'all can just screw off. Seattle restaurateur Ethan Stowell recently announced that he is closing several of his restaurants. Tom Douglas had to do the same thing with some of his restaurants. The person who wrote this op-ed, Simon Barron, is an insider. He works for one of Tom Douglas's restaurants, sits on the board of directors of the Restaurant Workers of America, and founded the Full Service Workers Alliance of Seattle. He noted that on January 1st, in just a couple of weeks, Seattle's minimum wage will go up to $16.39 an hour. Yeah, that sounds great. Normally, if you were in a small town that you could get in a one-bedroom apartment for $500 a month, yeah, 16 sounds great. That's good. Yeah, but restaurants cannot afford to pay what. Now, I'm not saying all restaurants. I'm talking about the small restaurants. I'm talking about the mom and pop restaurants. I'm not talking about the McDonald's. They can afford to pay. Burger King, Subway, they can afford to pay. If it's corporate. If it's one of those you buy it yourself franchise things, then no, you can't. But yeah, it's like, how are you going to be able to make it work? Instead of receiving a bigger paycheck, I am left without any pay at all due to the policy's change. That's because the restaurants where I've worked for 6 years is closing as a consequence of the city's harmful minimum wage experiment. Now, you have to have a living wage. You do. But instead of trying to bring your wages up and closing out all those restaurants, why doesn't the city of Seattle take the high cost of living and bring it down? Why? Because Seattle likes to be a snob. It got a taste of snobbery a few years back and it loved it. It wasn't about to turn back and be a normal city again. When I lived in Seattle back in the 90s, I had a one-bedroom apartment in Capitol Hill. I was paying $499 a month. It was a 700 square foot apartment, give or take a foot. Now Barron says with the loss of his livelihood, he will have trouble feeding his family. He wanted to go back to Sitka and Spruce, the Matt Dillon restaurant in Capitol Hill where he had once worked, but the restaurant is closing after New Year's Eve, probably because of the high cost of living. And this is the thing, the city council isn't thinking about this. They really don't give a crap. And I've talked to the city council until I'm blue in the face. As a matter of fact, I've got a letter that I wrote them, And I talked to the person that is the operator at the city council office, city council, uh, yeah, the city council, uh, uh, city hall. Yeah, so he told me this address. I put that in the address bar. I write the letter. I send it. Every single council member gets it. They're going to know that I mean business. I'm giving them just a short few years, and I plan on moving to Seattle. I plan on moving back to Seattle and running for mayor in 2025. Yes, all of this gorgeous me, is going to become mayor, and I'm going to fix what the city of Seattle chooses not to deal with. Barron said that he is struggling because of a policy meant to help him, and noted that while he is a progressive, he thinks progressives should reconsider minimum wage laws that hurt the very workers they are trying to protect. The only thing that is disappointing in this op-ed is that this guy says he is still a progressive. You see, progressives hurt a free market economy and workers a million times more than they help them. Well, that's not exactly true, because you got a free market economy. People that are for a free market economy because they say it promotes what's that called when not free trade, it promotes it's like you own a business and it creates competition. That's what it is. They have said that it creates competition and it'll lower the prices. Nope. They will put the business out of business and they will keep the prices the way they are because they want to be a monopoly. Where I live at now, we have what's known as Cub Foods. They own the majority of the grocery stores. Now, you do have a few Hy-Vee grocery stores that have come in that set up these super Hy-Vees. But Hy-Vee wants to open up their regular stores, and every time they get a spot to open up a store, Cub comes in, buys the property, and puts in a Cub food store. And Hy-Vee is sent packing. I do not think that is right. I think that is horrible. And as long as you are a snob city, Seattle, no matter how much you raise the cost of living, it will not work because people cannot afford, even on minimum wage. If you made the money $20 an hour, they still could not afford to live there in Seattle because you guys are too damn freaking expensive to live there. And I don't know why, but the Seattle I fell in love with and the Seattle I knew is no longer there. The transplants, the tech firms, the tech companies, the real estate moguls, they have all came in and changed Seattle and decided they were going to push Seattle out and make Seattle in their image. Anyway, I'm going to let you go on that note. If you have an idea for a better video, please put it in the comments below. If you have something to add to this video because you live in Seattle and you had a job and your minimum wage went up and it cost you your job because they had to close, put a comment below and let me know about it. If you have, like I said, a better idea for a better video, put a comment below. If you like my videos, give me a big old thumbs up. Squash that thumbs up button. Also, hit the subscribe button. I can't do this alone. This is a you, there you are. There you are. A you and I Productions. Making the world a better place, minute by minute, hour by hour, day after day. Hoping that the world becomes a much safer and more pleasant place to live. Anyway, if you can help your neighbors, please do. If you can say hello to a stranger and brighten their day, please do that as well. And if somebody says good day or somebody says hello, say thank you. If they help you, say thank you back. This has been All Things Considered. Have a good night, Seattle, America, and all points beyond.